Hi, my name is Pam Carriker, and I would like to demonstrate some mixed media art journaling techniques in a Strathmore mixed media journal. Today we're going to work in the Strathmore mixed media journal, and I'm using the middle size, which is 5.5 by, 5.5 by 8 inches, and that's kind of a nice size to use. It makes it for a very doable page. Like I said, this is the mixed media journal, and we're going to do just a little character construction here. And what I've done is gathered some collage elements. One is just a photo of me because I didn't want to use a magazine picture for copyright purposes, but if this was your own journal and it wasn't going to be published somewhere, you could just use a magazine picture or anything else. And you can see I've just cropped out the hair and just used the face on it. And then I gathered a few other collage type supplies, and I'm going to just lay them out the way that I think I might want to put them on the page, kind of thinking of a body, although we're going to draw the body in, but that's kind of what I'm lining this up to be. So now that I have my placement, I'm going to go ahead and move the images over, and using the soft gel medium, I'm going to take my brush and apply the gel medium to the back of the image and lay it down onto the page. Right up to the edge, and just glue that down real good. I'm going to apply just a little bit of the gel medium over the top. There. You don't want to get too much water, or you'll start getting some air bubbles, some wrinkling and stuff of the paper, especially when you're using old paper, like this is an old page from a book. Make sure your brush is fairly dry and just moistened with the gel medium and not water. Add that. And you'll just continue this until you get all of your elements glued down the way that you want them. Now, to tie all of these elements together and to kind of be able to start over with redrawing in like the face and everything on this, the next step that I do is make a wash of 1 part acrylic paint, and I'm using white, and 1 part water. And an easy way to do this is just to put a dollop of paint in there, measure out your water just by using your damp brush, and mix it together. And there's no perfect formula for this. It's just about that. And it depends on the brand of paint you use and all that kind of good stuff. What you want is nice watercolor consistency so that you can see through the paint when you paint over the top. And the whole page, just combine elements together. And you're going to let this completely dry. After the first layer of white dries, if you still want to cover up some of the layers, like I'm not really fond of how much of the text is showing through, I'm going to add a little of the paint directly to the page and then blend that out using a dry brush, so I'm not diluting that down. Now, using a graphite pencil, just start to sketch in your character, going over the face, and add a little bit of a neckline on the clothes. And I'm doing a very, very, very simple, straight down body. Now I've got a nice tight shot of her face here, and we're going to paint the face details. And remember that you don't have to do a face if you don't want to. This can be done with any type of collage item, as you can use a coffee cup, anything that you want to do can get the same results. But I'm going to show you how I did my quick little face on here. I have a few colors of paint. 3 colors of paint. I have Titan Buff and white, and I'm using a cobalt teal for shading, just to show you that you don't always have to go for the skin tone normal looking colors for a face. So I'm going to base in her neck, and I'm going to start basing in her face details and into the I'm using the Titan Buff paint right now. Just the corner, and I'm kind of starting to add this color to certain areas of the face, and I'm mindful of those pencil marks that I made. Those are going to start defining my face. And just wipe off some of that excess paint around. Okay, so now I've got kind of a coat of Titan Buff on her. And I'm going to start adding a little highlights to her face, which decide your light source, and that's kind of decided by which side you draw. If you draw a line, if the light is not coming straight on, then you've got a line on her nose on one side, so the other side of the line is going to be a little darker, and the bottom lip is going to be a little darker. And I'm just patting in a very painterly way, just kind of patting on the highlights around her face, blending as you go. And you can pick up a little acrylic glazing medium while you're doing this if you need to help blend the paint. Come in with the third color, which I'm using a cobalt teal, like I said, and I'm just barely picking up any of the color with a damp brush, a little bit light there, and I'm going to start just shading the areas that would be darkest with the cobalt teal. It's kind of an unexpected color, and it makes for a really fun page. And then I'm also going to get right in there and shade that upper lip a little bit, because the upper lip is always going to be a little darker than the bottom lip. And it's really easy to go in there and wipe around if you feel it's too dark at any point, and just play with that little bit of cobalt teal. And if you want, if you don't like the way it looks, you can go back over the top of it with some of the Titan Buff and blend that right in, right onto the page. And I just kind of work back and forth between all of the colors until it gets to a point that I'm liking her face. And on the face, after I've got the paint on there and it's dried a little bit, then I just take that graphite pencil and I go right back over the details just to finish off the fade. So that now she's got her little face details in here. Now, since I used the cobalt teal on her, I'm going to also use cobalt teal in the background to tie the two together. So I'm picking up a little cobalt teal and a little acrylic glazing medium, and since this is the side of her face that's shaded, I'm just going to go ahead and loosely shade along this side of the page using that same color and walking it out. So using a lighter hand over here, pull just a little bit of that cobalt teal around there too. And you can also wipe it if it gets too much. So we've got some of the background going on, and then I'm also going to use it to shade on her dress just a tad. And I'm going to use a little of the Titan Buff on her clothes also. We had the whitewash look going on. So now I'm going to paint just her clothes, and this can be with any color. These are just the colors that I used on this page. So add a little bit of that, and then over here I'm going to take a little bit of that Titan Buff and just kind of add it to the page. So you're going back and forth between just very few colors, really, and just adding them back and forth to the page. And you can see how that colors just kind of play off the background and her, and it just ties the whole page together and gives it a unified look. So spend a few minutes and use the cobalt teal or whatever color you chose to use on the face that was a little out of the ordinary, and use that to shade the background as well. While the background is drying a bit, I'm just going to show you really quickly. I'm taking my white gel pen, and because her face is small and this is a journal page and I'm not spending a ton of time on it, because I like to journal fast and furious, adding a little whites to her eyes, and I'm going to add the little white fleck in the pupil of her eye just with a white gel pen. That makes it really easy. So you can do that at any time too. And then I sometimes look around the page with the white gel pen when I have it out, and I may want to fill in, like I think I'm going to fill in the middle of this O with white. You can see the gel pen's almost like a paint when you're using it. And I'm going to do it down here on these little letters too, because I'm going to pop these letters out at the end. So I'm just filling any letter that has an opening with some white. And that'll show up later. Once the paint has dried that you started the shading with, I like to take a little of the Conte crayon. You could use charcoal for this. Pan Pastel works well for this. And just add a little bit on the shady side of things. Then because I like the soft look of this, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more of it up here, and that's going to become her hair. Just a little suggestion of hair there. Your brush and just pull it out. Now the page is almost at the end here, and all I would do now is take a black pen or your graphite pencil or a different color of pen, whatever you prefer, and start outlining some of the details that I want to stand out. Some of the words, some of the face, whatever you want to stand out. And we just go around and keep adding to the details. I would probably come down here and also outline around these words to give them a little pop down here. And then you have a free space over here that you can continue journaling on and write some more words in. So take a few moments and re-sketch any details that you want to show up with the graphite for a more sketchy look, and any details that you want to show up bolder, then you would use a black pen, and you can also use the white pen for some highlight too. And have fun doing the doodling part of journaling, which is always fun. So now I've finished my page and I've added some journaling in white, so it's barely visible, which I kind of like the soft look for this page. And I added some little doodling with the white gel pen, and then at the bottom I even used the black pen to outline my letters down here. So you can see how easy it is and how fun to create a very simple collaged character page without having to have a lot of drawing skill to draw a face. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I look forward to the next one.